All right, Bears fans, let's dive straight into the latest developments around Chicago's Gridiron Squad, because there's a lot to unpack, and it's not all sunshine and touchdowns. One of the biggest storylines has been the ongoing situation with Dio Dango. Honestly, if you've been keeping an eye on him this season, it's hard not to feel frustrated. The contract situation alone is a maze of numbers and clauses that makes your head spin. Next year's cap hit is already a hefty amount, and by the third year, cutting him comes with a limited dead cap penalty. But here's the kicker. If no action is taken, the team faces a massive $20.5 million hit. Cutting him before June 1st doesn't save much either, actually increasing the cap implications to $22 million, which eats up a lot of potential flexibility. Even if a team somehow decided to trade for him, which right now seems like a fantasy, the current contract makes him almost untouchable. Simply put, the Bears are stuck hoping for a performance turnaround because, at this stage, Dango has been a consistent disappointment, particularly in his role as a pass rusher. That Week 1 sack looked promising, sure, but it came against a backup tackle, and since then, he's barely registered a presence in the backfield. Occasionally, he shows some competence in setting the edge against the run, but even there, performances like the one against Baltimore were underwhelming. Looking at the numbers and the impact on the defensive line, it's clear that the investment hasn't paid off, and it raises questions about front office decision-making. When teams sign players post-rookie contract betting on potential, it's always a gamble, but 4 years of observable output should have painted a clearer picture. A 3-year, $48 million deal with $32 million guaranteed for a player who hasn't delivered consistently is a risky move, and one that has yet to justify itself. A shorter, lower-risk deal would have made more sense, especially considering what he's producing versus what he's being paid. Shifting gears, the conversation around short-yardage situations has also become a talking point among fans. The Bears have struggled here, and it's evident that finding the right personnel and executing effectively has been a challenge. DeAndre Swift, while talented, doesn't bring the kind of physical dominance that is often ideal in those moments. Kyle Monangai offers some balance, but the role envisioned for him is constrained by both his size and durability. Britton Brown showed glimpses in the preseason of being able to push through defenders, but whether he can truly change the outcome in those critical 3rd and short or 4th and short situations remains to be seen. Penalties and indecision have often compounded these challenges, leaving the team with missed opportunities and a sense that small adjustments could yield better results. The Bears' approach to situational football, particularly when it comes to QB sneaks and run-heavy short-yardage plays, needs refinement, and that's something coaching and practice habits are clearly influencing. Another layer to this puzzle is the status and potential movement of key defensive players. Questions about whether DJ or KT might be traded before the deadline for reinforcements like an edge rusher or a cornerback are swirling, but realistically, neither seems likely to move before the season concludes. Contract sizes, performance metrics, and overall value in the market all play roles in these decisions. And while bold predictions are fun, the front office appears more inclined to wait until the offseason to make significant changes. Adding depth or adjusting the roster through minor moves seems more feasible in the short term, particularly when the goal is to shore up weak spots without destabilizing the team. Of course, injuries and practice intensity continue to be a concern. Observers have noticed a recurring pattern of soft tissue injuries and questions about whether the team's current approach to training and conditioning is adequate. First-year coaching adjustments, the lingering presence of previous staff, and the balance between maintaining physical readiness and avoiding overexertion are all factors influencing the health and availability of players. Finding the right rhythm in practice is essential because without consistent preparation, execution on game days suffers, especially in key moments that demand physical resilience. As we look at confidence levels heading into upcoming matchups, fans and analysts alike are weighing strengths and weaknesses carefully. The Bears' ability to rebound on the road against teams with deep receiving core and formidable offenses is uncertain. Injuries in the secondary and questions about execution on both sides of the ball temper optimism. While there are bright spots in the roster, including players who have exceeded expectations given draft position or previous projections. The overall landscape remains one of cautious evaluation. The performance of rookies has been a mixed bag. Some have shown promise, others less so, and the depth chart continues to be tested by injuries and situational needs. Evaluating draft picks like Carlson Loveland and Luther Burden, the jury is still out, and while contributions in blocking schemes and situational plays are valuable, the expectation of dynamic playmaking has not been fully realized. Looking at roster adjustments and trade scenarios, it's clear the front office faces a balancing act. Ideal moves might include adding a cornerback to solidify the secondary or bolstering the pass rush with a veteran edge presence. However, budgetary constraints, contract complications, and injury histories complicate aggressive acquisitions. A player like Trey Hendrickson, while tempting in theory, comes with both financial and injury risk, making a conservative approach more sensible. On the other hand, players with system familiarity and lower cost, like Alontae Taylor, represent lower-risk opportunities that could fill immediate gaps without jeopardizing long-term strategy. Evaluating trade-offs between potential high-impact players and steady, system-ready contributors is a continuous challenge, especially as the season unfolds and the window for impactful additions narrows. Finally, the offensive line remains a topic of scrutiny. Young players like Theo Caldwell, a second-year undrafted talent, have stepped into critical roles and delivered surprising performance, particularly given initial expectations. His development offers a bright spot amidst broader concerns about depth and effectiveness at tackle positions. While he is not a finished product, his growth trajectory underscores the importance of patience and targeted coaching. At the same time, the team's evaluation of left tackle needs, potential offseason shifts, and the integration of players like Aussie Reich highlight ongoing strategic considerations. The balance between developing talent internally and seeking external upgrades will continue to shape the Bears' offensive stability moving forward. Continuing with the Bears season narrative, it's impossible to ignore the ripple effects of inconsistent performances and how they shape the team's outlook week by week. One area that has drawn attention is the quarterback's rhythm in tandem with the offensive line. When protection falters, timing breaks down, and even the most talented playmakers struggle to find space. DeAndre Swift, while explosive, relies heavily on clean lanes and precise blocking. And without that, defenses can collapse around him. The line, despite flashes of competence from younger players stepping into starter roles, still struggles to maintain consistency, especially against defensive fronts that mix speed and power. Theo Caldwell's emergence as a starter has been encouraging, yet it underscores how much development is still needed across the unit. Balancing potential with production has become a central theme for the coaching staff, particularly as they navigate injuries and roster gaps that limit flexibility. Looking at the defense, aside from the ongoing concerns with Diodango, there are broader challenges affecting performance. Pass rush rotation and edge containment remain critical weaknesses. When defenders fail to apply consistent pressure, opposing quarterbacks find windows to exploit, which can derail the momentum of a game in minutes. Even with players like DJ and KT, who could theoretically anchor these efforts, the combination of high contracts, uneven production, and the risk of injury complicates any immediate solutions. Trade scenarios are a constant talking point, but the likelihood of moving either player before the deadline is slim. Realistically, the team must focus on incremental improvements and situational coaching adjustments to stabilize the pass rush. The reality is that the Bears' defensive struggles are not limited to one player or position. They are systemic, and finding sustainable solutions will require both strategic acquisitions in the offseason and better execution on game day. Rookie contributions are another facet that has fueled fan debate. Carlson Loveland, while not yet living up to the hoped-for dynamic impact, has provided value in blocking schemes, but the expectation was for him to be more of a versatile weapon. Luther Burden, similarly, has been underwhelming when measured against draft expectations, although his long-term potential remains in question as well. These inconsistencies highlight the challenge of relying on young talent while simultaneously needing immediate production to compete. The Bears' draft strategy, while promising on paper, is being tested by real-time demands of the season, and the coaching staff must navigate the delicate balance of patience versus pressing for results. Special teams and situational football have also come under scrutiny. Short yardage scenarios, particularly 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 plays, continue to be problematic. Execution errors, indecision, and occasional penalties disrupt flow and squander opportunities to gain manageable chunks of yardage. Britton Brown's preseason flashes hinted at an ability to overcome these defensive challenges, but translating potential into consistent game-day impact is a recurring struggle. The effectiveness of quarterback sneaks and power runs in short yardage situations remains inconsistent, highlighting a need for better preparation, timing, and coordination between the offensive line, skill players, and coaching staff. Injury management and practice intensity are interwoven with performance outcomes. The recurring pattern of soft tissue injuries points to a combination of physical strain, possibly inadequate conditioning adjustments, and the challenge of maintaining peak performance across the roster. Under first-year head coach Ben Johnson, the team is navigating new training philosophies, but the balance between practice intensity and player longevity remains delicate. Overexertion can be as damaging as underpreparation, and finding the sweet spot in training cadence is vital for reducing injuries while building the resilience needed to withstand a physically demanding schedule. The importance of medical and training staff alignment cannot be overstated, as the ability to maintain player health directly impacts both weekly performance and long-term team stability. Off-field considerations, particularly contract management and cap strategy, also influence on-field decisions. High-profile deals, like those for Dio Dango or other defensive assets, create constraints that ripple through roster planning and potential mid-season acquisitions. These financial realities force the front office to weigh risk against reward, often prioritizing budget-friendly moves or players with system familiarity over high-cost, high-risk trades. The tension between immediate impact and sustainable roster building is a recurring theme, and how the team navigates these decisions can define both the short-term competitiveness and long-term trajectory of the Bears franchise. Fan expectations and confidence levels add another layer of complexity. The team's performance against formidable opponents, particularly on the road, shapes public perception and internal morale. Injuries to key starters, defensive vulnerabilities, and offensive inconsistencies temper optimism, even when individual players exceed expectations. Confidence heading into games like the matchup against the Bengals sits in a moderate range. While there is hope for a bounce-back performance, the reality of missing personnel and facing talented opposition makes predicting outcomes challenging. Fans are right to temper expectations while still looking for sparks of resilience and moments of breakthrough from emerging talent. Looking ahead, trade targets and roster adjustments remain a persistent area of speculation. The ideal moves often balance risk, cost, and positional need. Acquiring a veteran cornerback or pass rusher to solidify critical gaps could provide immediate value, yet these decisions require careful assessment of contract implications and long-term strategy. High-profile players like Trey Hendrickson present appealing upside, but carry financial and injury risks, whereas lower-risk system-ready players offer stability but less immediate impact. These decisions highlight the chess-like nature of roster management, where every move has cascading consequences on salary cap, player morale, and future flexibility. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL rumor mill, whispers are swirling that Jordan MAILATA, the so-called human wall, is preparing to swap the city of brotherly love for the Windy City. Sources close to the situation suggest that the Philadelphia Eagles' towering offensive tackle might be packing his bags for the Chicago Bears, a team desperate to elevate its offensive line to an elite level. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the mere speculation of MAILATA trading his midnight green for navy and orange has fans and analysts buzzing alike. MAILATA, known for his sheer size, agility, and unconventional rise from rugby fields to the NFL gridiron, has quietly become one of the most formidable presences in the league. Eagles supporters have long marveled at his ability to dominate pass rushers with a combination of raw power and surprisingly nimble footwork. Yet, the rumors suggest that behind closed doors, there have been discussions about a new challenge, a new stage to showcase his skills, potentially under the bright lights of Soldier Field. The Bears, historically notorious for their struggles in pass protection, would instantly benefit from a player of MAILATA's caliber. Imagine the human wall standing at the edge of the line, absorbing pressure like a brick fortress, giving their quarterbacks time to dissect defenses. Analysts speculate that his addition could transform Chicago's offense almost overnight, turning what was once a leaky line into a fearsome front capable of reshaping the NFC North hierarchy. Fans have taken social media in droves, debating the plausibility and potential impact of such a blockbuster move. Some argue that MAILATA's loyalty to Philly could outweigh any allure from the Windy City, while others point out that the chance to be the cornerstone of a struggling offensive line could be too tempting for a player of his ambition and drive. Regardless, the chatter is undeniable. The league is ripe with anticipation, and if even a fraction of these rumors hold water, the upcoming season could begin with one of the most stunning position shakeups in recent memory. Whether MAILATA dons the Bears uniform or remains a Philly stalwart, one thing is clear. His presence on the line makes any offense he joins instantly better. For now, fans can only watch, speculate, and wonder. Is the human wall about to move north, or is this just the latest chapter in a saga of NFL what-ifs? Either way, the NFL offseason just got a lot more intriguing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.